Welcome back, everyone. How are you guys doing? And how are you, Lauren?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to enlist. How about you?
I am enlisted. I am not an ace. I am still mopping the deck where the airplanes are sitting. Airplanes? Why am I talking about airplanes?
Well, because you have a need.
For speed?
A need for speed.
Wah, wah. I think we're being canceled.
Already? Shit. We were 6 seconds into this episode.
We are talking about, of course, top 5 flight games.
Flight games. And I'm going to have a little bit of a disclaimer here. I'm not as experienced in the flight games as Tom. This is Tom's category for sure. He's going to dominate me. So I might lean out a little bit here to like rail shooters and a little bit of that, but you can't blame me.
So I'm not going to go as far back as I wanted to in this episode. Like I could go as far back as saying I loved playing Red Baron. I thought that was a really good flight game. I could even talk about all the flight simulators that came out on Windows 95, 98, XP, and all that. I'm not going to do that.
Someone might.
Someone might.
It won't be Tom. You can talk about Skyjanks on the Atari, but you won't.
No,
I could
not
because I was there. But what's your number honorable mention, sir? Let's get the ball rolling.
I only have one honorable mention, and this one is going to be weird as an honorable mention because this should be technically like one of the best flight sim games up to current date.
Okay.
But my honorable mention is Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown.
That's your honorable?
Yeah. And that came out by Bandai in 2019.
Way less knowledge on flight games than you do. That's up there, though.
That is up there, and it is a fun game.
It's way up there.
It's the same two countries at war, Osea and Eurosea, and you know exactly where we're talking about.
Yeah, the alternate reality Earth.
Yeah, and you're Trigger, a wrongfully accused fighter pilot, part of a penal company, and because of reasons, you're now in the air, taking down bogeys in their airspace, and you're also destroying hostiles on the ground. And you get the occasional cool boss fight or protect a building thon from enemies and incoming missiles. There's a lot of these styles of missions, right? And the graphics are holy fucking crap phenomenal.
I've heard.
Like, from the rain hitting your windscreen to like just the lighting effect coming through and whatnot.
Yeah.
When you take that turn and you're trying to chase someone and that light glare comes through and you lose them, dude, it's legit.
Oh, no kidding.
Like, all that fucking cool shit. The graphics are just amazing. And the music is phenomenal. They hired a hell of a big team for this department. And it's not surprising because this is the 7th one in the making, not including any of the expansion packs. So they've had a long time to work on this. It's now 2019. It's for the Xbox X and... Xbox One, Xbox X, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. We're away now from PlayStation 1, so the graphics...
Yeah.
As you go through the years, are going to be surprisingly much better. And if you haven't played an Ace Combat game, this would be a good one to start off.
Yeah, and it's someone like me that's I've played one.
Yeah.
Well, no, two.
And there is that arcade feel to it. So
very much so, like that arcade, just enough to make it not a punishing sim, but also it's kind of like I like to equate it to and forgive me, the Need for Speed of like air combat games, because you don't need to know the story. It's rehashed. It's like every Need for Speed, it's rehashed. That's not the heart and soul. That's not the bread and butter of the game. The game, the combat's just fucking outstanding, and I totally get it.
Yeah, the dog fighting is
that it's so low on your list, though. I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I'll be fair. It because I have not played it, did not make my list.
Okay,
but maybe one did. My honorable mention is it's kind of a cop-out. There's better games in the series, but I'm going to go with Star Wars X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
Oh, so, for computer, that one's really good.
So made by Totally Games. It was PC April 97. Now, there's like the TIE Fighter games and the X-Wing games separately are better because there's
more time involved.
But I'm talking about the Balance of Power expansion. That because one of the biggest oopsies, the main programmer actually said, I don't really give a shit about campaign. Let's not even focus on it. Let's just make the multiplayer. And I gotta say, it changed everything, man.
Yeah.
Like multiplayer in a shooter was you don't have to worry about like where you are in the space of the game because it's like tight corridors and it's very easy to track. This is a wide open space simulator. The math involved in tracking 8 people all in dogfight scenarios it was mind-blowing, and they tackled it and they figured it out. But more importantly, the 8-person co-op that you can do for the missions and the balance of power part,
man.
Fuck, is that cool, man. Like
They don't give you that option in a lot of games. So.
we never got 8 people together. I got 4.
Yeah.
But 4-person co-op in a like Wing Commander style game, fuck, was it cool.
Would you say that this game is cool to land nowadays?
Yeah, I think it would still be fun.
Yeah, okay.
I think so for sure.
All right.
I wasn't blessed enough to. I played in a few LAN parties. I didn't get to go to a lot, and in hindsight, I wish I went to more because man, they were fun.
Yeah,
super fun. And you know how many illegal fucking movies I got every time I went to one? Like
you left with more shit than you went there with.
Like the Two Towers, all of it as it was in theater. Fuck yes,
nerds.
LAN parties ruled, man.
That game ruled
you mock
too,
us,
man.
But we traded in illegal contraband like you wouldn't believe. Man, what a great game. Okay, never mind. That was my honorable mention. What a great game that was. My number 5, I might get some heat for this, but because it's not even the best in the series, and it's not even all flight. There's foot missions and there's tank missions. So this came out on the GameCube.
Oh my god.
It wasn't even... Yeah, I know, you already know what it is.
Why would you pick this game?
Hear me out. I'm going to tell you why. So it's Star Fox Assault we're talking about. And there are better Star Foxes. Star Fox 64.
There are way better Star Fox games.
Star Fox 64, for sure. What's the Star Fox Zero on Wii U?
I love that one.
I actually really love Star Fox Zero, and I contemplated that being here. But
me too.
Hear me out.
Okay.
The reason I went with Star Fox Assault, and first, let's get this out of the way. Nintendo didn't even develop it.
No, it wasn't.
Namco did.
Yeah.
And they might be part of why I also hate this game. I hate the foot mission part.
They suck.
It's
a collectathon game.
Suck.
It's a collectathon.
Well, it's. I mean, fuck. If Rare made the foot mission part, then yeah, it'd be Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah.
Which I also love, but listen, the water effects in that game were fucking crazy.
Okay.
Man. But Star Fox Assault, hear me out. That opening level, was what the fuck?
Very cool.
Star Fox 64 couldn't hold the fucking testicle hairs of that first level. Oh, like it's just gorgeous, man.
Yeah, it is.
Gorgeous level, and the saving Slippy, of course, right off the bat.
Right,
and it just feels so much more satisfying to actually pick them out of the sky in this than Star Fox 64.
Hey, we're on the same team.
Which is way better than the Super Nintendo version. Anyway.
Yes, it is.
Which was not as good as Star Fox 2 on the Super Nintendo.
Yes, that's true.
Because it was open world more.
Yeah.
But honestly, I will slog through the tank mission, whatever they're called again, the land something.
Land speeder or whatever.
Land stalker.
What the heck is it now?
Landmaster.
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 Yes, that's what it is.
The Landmaster levels and the foot levels pale in comparison, but the 4 air levels you get, or like space levels.
You're telling me that those 4 levels make this game worthwhile?
They're incredible.
Okay.
They're fucking incredible.
All right, I'll give you less. I'll give you more slack.
I wish they would have made a whole game with only that.
Yeah.
Because man, and I get it. Like F-Zero, Star Fox Zero. So,
Fox Zero. Yeah.
It was the game we wanted.
Yes.
But the controls were just a little clunky.
It's because
and
of the Wii U gamepad where you have to tilt it to
and
look left and
didn't
right.
love.
Yeah.
I didn't love the controls, and that took me out of it.
Yes.
And that GameCube controller was just so much better suited, and it was such a good game.
It was.
Okay, that's my number 5. Your number 5.
Oh, I don't even know off the top of my head. Let me see here. My number 5, and this is a arcade cabinet, okay?
Cool.
And it is Afterburner, released originally on October 1st of '87 by Sega AM2. This was meant to be Sega's first big blockbuster, and guess what? It was. What a awesome rail shooter. It looks great, it feels great, the sound is fantastic. The cabinet, dude, is fucking ballin'. Dude, it's a moving cab. The cab tilts up and down, and the seat moves left and right as you fucking do your turns. There was no other game that did this yet. And I still remember playing that for the first time to this day. Like, sitting in that cabinet, dude. And it's like, you fucking mash your stick down, and you start tilting upwards. You're like, what the fuck? And you start banking left, and then your seat moves? Holy fuck.
Everything about that game.
It was amazing. It was so cool. And I have yet to find one of those to this day ever again.
Yeah.
Ever.
You know how we recently recorded a pinball episode, and I said if there was one pinball that I could own, if there's one arcade machine that I could own,
Yeah.
fucking rights it's
Dude.
this.
Fucking Afterburner. Like, I'll post up a video of how this cabinet looks like when someone plays it, and you guys can see it for yourself. It's just
I played this new at Wizard's Castle in West Edmonton Mall when it showed up,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, man, it showed up like late, almost Christmas '87. Okay, and so of course we're Christmas shopping, and we walk in. Of course, like my mom's just like, "Okay, go to the arcade by the food court."
Yeah.
She's like, just get out of my fucking hair for and, so me and my cousin Blaine, and we walked in, and there's this big crowd around this one
Oh,
arcade.
that arcade at the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we walked into the Wizard's Castle,
Yeah.
and we walked into the crowd, and we checked it out, and we were like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
this, man?
dude. It's huge.
There's a wheel on the back that's rotating a barrel. It was like, holy shit, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen, man. But then, never mind that, like, the cabinet's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The action on the screen, like the super scaling that that Sega was capable of doing with pixel, like with sprites.
Yeah, shit screaming at your face.
It's
in
all
seconds.
sprites, but it looks so fucking 3D, and
Yeah,
it's just
man.
flying at your face.
I
You're like-
remember playing that
the
cabinet.
missiles coming at your
still to this
face,
day.
or like you're literally, as you're sitting in the cab, you're fucking dodging, like trying not to get like, and you hit your head off the side of the cab because you're just trying to dodge the fucking missiles. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that game is fucking crazy good.
It was crazy.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
We might be talking about it soon again. This episode.
My number 4, and it's funny that we're going right back to Star Wars. Released December 3rd, 98, made by Factor 5 and LucasArts.
Rogue.
Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Rogue.
And this was like basically
Air
like
high five.
Air High Five. If you played Shadows of the Empire and you played that snow speeder level where you try to like topple over the AT-ATs, this is basically that game but perfected.
Yeah.
People loved playing that level so much in Shadows of the Empire that they literally spent their time to recreate that as an entire game.
So you N64 Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I was a little partial to Rogue Leader on GameCube, but dude, Rogue Squadron that game was enough to own an N64. That's how good that game was. I don't even want to know how much that game's going for now.
So this game, what a Star Wars title. The missions are split in 4: search and destroy, reconnaissance, rescue and protect, and just your shoot 'em up,
Yeah.
right? It's like like I said, it's like a polished version of Shadows of the Empire. This one, they were kind of they kind of fucked up because they made the game with a higher leveled N64, which basically needed the expansion pack. So if N64 didn't create the expansion pack, you could not play this game.
No.
So it's like, thank you N64. And more than 1 million copies sold of this game.
So was this ended up on Player's Choice?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Dude. And you go across 16 missions. They're all tight, arcade-style fighting. You can pick from your X, Y, A-Wing, Snowspeeder, V-Wing, and it's just such a sweet fucking game.
And we could sit here and talk about how many Star Wars games where they got it wrong.
Yes.
And this is absolutely in the top 3 of games that got it right.
Yeah,
dude.
and
like this
if
game
it
is
wasn't,
so fun.
If it wasn't for this game, you wouldn't have the 2 or 3 Rogue Squadron games for GameCube.
The Rogue Leader,
Yeah.
like Rogue Squadron 2.
Yeah. Those
Oh,
were awesome.
chef kiss.
Mamma mia.
That game is
But yeah,
and it's
this
literally
is,
just built off
this
the
is my
engine
pick.
of this game. This game is
Yeah.
it's reason to own an N64.
It is a reason to own N64 and an expansion pack.
And I bet it's not cheap.
It's not as cheap as it once was. No.
Should we look it up?
Let's look it up.
Should we look
I
it up?
think it'll still go a loose for about $50. I could be wrong nowadays though.
Okay, moving on. It's $12 loose.
Cheap.
There's no way.
Cheap.
Anyone with an N64 sitting on a shelf right now should be jumping on eBay and
Buying a shit ton of these.
grab that now. Complete in box, $40.
What the fuck?
Grab it now before it goes up, because it's going up.
Yeah.
It's going up. There's no way. People are almost done with Super Nintendo and collecting, and they're just going to move right on to N64 here. It's coming right away. So.
Yeah. Like it hasn't been happening already, eh?
Yeah, it's honestly, like, and GameCube's not far behind, man. It's that 20-year rule. Like, people...
Takes
if
time.
games are 20 years old, that's the people that are coming into expendable money that want to relive their childhood. It's coming. Buy that game now.
It's true. I just recently recollected every single, basically so far a third of them, which is 12 titles, but there's 40. But I'm recollecting every single Japanese wrestling game for Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Again.
Oh, yeah. I know that. My number 4.
Your number 4.
Just talked about.
Afterburner.
So I'm gonna give you, of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a little bit more deep dive. So
All right, hold on. Are you picking the arcade or the Sega Saturn version
no,
or
arcade,
the
arcade?
Arcade. Yeah, that cabinet is hard to beat.
Arcade. Even if you don't happen to get a deluxe cabinet, which is what Tom was just talking about a while ago. The deluxe cabinet, the regular stand-up cabinet, which I think is at Arcadium right now.
Yeah, they have the joystick one.
It's just the stand-up typical, so you stand at the machine, it has a joystick, it's still super fun.
Yeah.
Has the trigger, has the missile launch. But he's talking about the deluxe cabinet. And that was something else.
Yes.
It's a big barrel, and you are sitting, parallel with the barrel. There's a machine or a motor in the back that has a wheel that sticks to the back of the barrel, so that when you pull back on the throttle or on the flight stick, the whole barrel rolls so that you face the sky. So it literally simulates you pulling up to climb.
Yeah, man.
And then if you nosedive it, it points you down. This arcade cabinet has a fucking seatbelt, and you are expected to wear it, man. Because trust me. So not only that, but the seat and the TV are all connected to a fulcrum point, and when you roll the stick right or left, it all rotates around that point. So your seat will, like, imagine a clock. If I rolled it to the right, your seat will roll towards 7 o'clock, and the monitor will rotate towards like 1 o'clock. And then if you push to the right, the opposite happens. You kind of roll towards like 5 o'clock, even like 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
if
and this
you go
cabinet
hard.
has never been done before.
No, it's like this amount of mechanical assisted realism is unheard of at this point. Right? It's just fucking mind-blowing, man.
Yeah, man.
And I remember the first time I saw it when we were at West Ed. And we just had to. We ran back to the food court to my mom and my aunt, and we were like, "We need fucking quarters now!"
and some cash.
And like two little white kids screaming at our parents to give us money. Like, oh my god!
And then also, it's like
it was still only a quarter.
The speakers were so loud, and
immersive,
you felt
right
everything
behind your head, and immersive.
Yeah, it felt like the missiles were coming right at your fucking head.
Like Yu Suzuki nailed that shit.
Yeah.
So here's a little more deep dive on that game. By the time we got it, Afterburner 2 was already out in Japan.
Yes.
So they released it in Japan. I want to say, like, we got it October. They got it like May. And immediately they were like, we need to make improvements to this. So they came up with a much tighter game, a little bit more balanced on the missiles, which if you've never played this game, you have a trigger that's like unlimited anti-aircraft cannon, and then you have heat-seeking missiles, but you have limited heat-seeking missiles, and every few levels you can restock in a like air restocking.
Like refueling.
You can restock in the air if you happen to survive that long. This is a fucking hard game.
It is not easy.
If you happen to restock, then you keep going. You got more heat-seeking missiles, and you can just fuck shit up. It's crazy. And they have like, as far as I remember, there's like air-to-air, but there is a couple like there is ground-based stuff, but you're mostly in the air. If you really crank the flight stick left or right, you can barrel roll, but the arcade cabinet will not go upside down. Don't freak out.
Yeah, it's not that
fucking
extreme.
sue us. No, oh man. So there's 18 stages. You have the machine gun, the heat-seeking missiles. I'm just trying to get through all my notes here. But yeah, so a lot of the North American arcade operators caught wind of this second Afterburner and found out that they could just order the board for pretty cheap. And a lot of them did it. So we, even though we had Afterburner 1 deluxe cabinets, got Afterburner 2 in those Afterburner 1 deluxe cabinets. So we actually got the second game without even knowing it. The only time you knew that is if you looked at the title screen and it said Afterburner 2 with like that the bouncing balls logo, whatever. Yeah. We also had what else on that? Yeah, deluxe cabinet. So there was the seat, which was totally separate from the barrel. And it was an F-14, by the way, which...
F-14 Tomcat!
So, yeah, it was just... In 1987, that was fucking wild.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely wild. I'm so glad that I got to see it in the wild. I played it damn near new. I sucked at it. The lineup was always out the fucking arcade, so you mostly just watched other people play.
I haven't seen this game in over a decade.
I would love...
2 decades, even.
If I saw this in the wild... That's the rest of my day.
That's my whole garage.
That's the rest of my day. I'm gonna take out $40 and just drop fucking loonies in this thing
I'm
all
beating this
day.
game today.
Oh god, what a memory, man!
I love that game.
You know what? Maybe I do like flight games.
Yeah, I think you do secretly.
My number 3.
Number 3.
Is one of only 2 Ace Combat games that I've played.
Okay. Which
And
one?
It's Ace Combat 4.
So that's PS2.
This came out on PS2.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And if it's any indication of how good this game was, it came out in November 2001.
That's a hard month to.
Do you know what came out in November 2001?
That was the new gen.
The
release.
fucking GameCube.
The new gen release was
GameCube came out in 2001.
Because Xbox came out.
Xbox came out in 2001 November.
Yeah, that's
So
a
you
hard month.
Rough.
That's a hard month.
You had Halo. You had Monkey Ball.
That's a tough one to sell games
Holy
during,
shit, man.
Yeah.
And yet
What a terrible time to release a game.
And yet I still played it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, for PS2, that like it blew my mind. The visuals were way ahead of its time on PS. Like,
it
boy,
surpassed
was that a pretty
what they
game.
did on PlayStation 1.
Gritty game, man. It's so 21 different planes.
Yeah, that's usually they're usually up there with 18 to 20s.
Yeah, and I think there's what, if I'm gonna guess, it's
16
like
or 18
16,
missions.
18 missions. So there's more planes than missions, which means replay, baby,
Yes.
replayability.
You can't tell me you don't want to redo that with the Warthog.
Right, like it's fucking the A10, dude. The
Yeah.
A10. Fucking love that.
Fucking love that plane.
I love, and especially because in this game there are definitively, so there's air-to-air. There's ground attack missions.
Yes, very important.
The ground attack missions are fucked. I think they're my favorite. You know what's my least favorite? The fucking escort missions.
Those are terrible.
Like, they're hit.
Keep
they're
up! Fucking keep up with me! God!
They're there.
Yeah, that's a great game.
That's all I gotta say about
Namco
those.
always nails it.
Really cool mix of music styles. It's
operatic, energetic, metal.
Yeah. Perfect.
What I just said.
Literally perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like, so if you were expecting Kenny Loggins, I mean, just fuck off.
Yeah, it's an awesome flight.
What a game
series.
Man. So and the visuals were really realistic, and I'm sure I'm just parroting a very early old man version of what you said about Ace Combat 7.
Yep.
That the visuals are incredible.
They are.
Yeah, and the controls they're
simple,
quite realistic, but simple.
Simple.
They simplified it down so that it's more arcadey, so that you want to play it more.
Yeah.
Because my number, my number 1, it's not going to be that way.
Yeah.
This was much more fun to play, and honestly, in reality, I might make this my number 1, but I'll still talk about my number 1 in a number 3 way.
Okay.
Later on.
So my number 3, released way back on November 1st of 2012 by Russian publisher Gaijin Network. It was released around the height of what we call the war-style games for PC. And this was also ramping up with flight games, with tank games, just any kind of war game in the late 2000s to early 2010s. There was a crap ton of war games.
This is like the World of era? Yeah.
Yes. But this one is called War Thunder.
Okay.
And you may have seen this recently on your phone or
fucking
on
nuts?
commercials.
Isn't that nuts?
And this game was released as an open beta back in 2012 when I first started playing it. And it's one of the most advanced flight simulators I ever played. The controls vary from simple to arcade to advanced. You can use any peripheral in this game, anything. You can even use a wireless Nintendo controller with a D-pad and 2 buttons if you wanted to.
Wow.
And have your plane controlled by the D-pad and shoot with a button and drop bombs with the other if you wanted to. You can have the most complicated of controls if you wanted, like a throttle stick and like everything. You can do that. You can literally use anything. There isn't one thing you can't use in this game. You pick your nation. You level up, upgrade your planes. You can go as far as World War I planes to present. So you can have MiGs and all that, and F-14s,
MiGs.
11, 16,
Wouldn't MiGs fucking rule?
Yeah. And then I personally...
I want to go Mach 3.
The sound is fantastic. I usually play this with my sound system cranked because I love to hear all the bombs going off and the planes whizzing right by you and like trying to shoot you down, and you just narrowly fucking make it, and it's just really good. Like I still play this game 12 years later. It's one of my favorite PC games, and I use, personally, my favorite plane is the slowest one out of the entire fucking game. It's called a PBY Catalina. This plane came out as a search and rescue, which was then remodified to guzzle up water and drop it on forest fires.
Oh, it'd be cool if it guzzled up wine and took it to the mixer.
Hello, France.
The Catalina wine mixer.
The Catalina PBY wine mixer.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, it's a Gaijin game, War Thunder. You can, if you want, you can play this as an arcade-style flight sim, or you can play this as a full sim with full controls, advanced controls, meaning that
That's cool.
If you go to nosedive and you go past the speed that your plane can handle, your wings are
stalled
get
out.
ripped the fuck off.
You're done.
But if you play on arcade mode, it'll like lock you so that you don't go past that kilometer.
You just get a terminal velocity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you've never played this game before and you've seen commercials and you're like, I don't know if I really want to play this or anything.
Well, it's a cheesy gotcha game. Yeah. I don't want to play it.
It's not one of those. It's you can play. You can.
Neat.
It's free. You don't have to spend any money, and you can play multiplayer, which is what I do all the time. So if you want a
our last
multiplayer
recording
free flight
session,
sim game,
I walked in on you playing that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was War Thunder. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was War Thunder.
Dude, that would actually look really good.
It looks really good.
Like, really good visuals.
Like, they upgrade the graphics. I know this came out back in 2012, but they upgrade the graphics and everything yearly.
Okay.
So it's not like it looks like an old phony game.
Oh, that's neat, man.
Yeah.
That's really neat. I like
and
that.
you haven't tried it out? Try it out. I think it's even available on cell phones, and I think it's cross-platform.
Neat.
So if you haven't checked it out yet and you're curious about a flight sim game and it's free, try War Thunder.
It should be putting all the other developers on notice. Like, hey,
Yeah.
if they can do it, free to play, why can't you?
Yeah.
I'm talking about a lot of you. A lot of you devs out there are fucking phoning it in lately.
Yep.
For $90 Canadian.
That's too much.
God.
Your number 2 or my number 2?
You're number 2.
My number 2, and this is gonna come as to no surprise, developed and published by Nintendo, 97 of June, Star Fox 64!
Okay.
Does it count? Technically, it shouldn't count, because it's a rail shooter.
It's a rail shooter, but hey, you do, to me...
You do barrel rolls! You go up, you go down, you do loops!
If you move within the confines of that rail,
yeah,
you're flying.
Dude, you're doing loops, you're doing scissor, you're... like you're
I count
barrel
it.
rolling.
I count it.
It's a
I
flight
would
sim,
not
damn
count
it.
like Panzer Dragoon because that's a very tight
That's
rail.
that's.
But Star Fox, you're moving within that rail, so
Yeah.
I totally count it.
So I don't think we really need to go fully into this game. We talked about this game several times. Everybody's played Star Fox 64. It's just a really tight, good Nintendo game. Great soundtrack, great levels, lots of replayability.
Replayability, like perfect. Yep.
Lots of replayability.
Multiple paths.
If you're stuck doing the same levels all the time, and eventually you figure out on stage 1 or 2 that if you beat this boss, or you take this path, or you take this special way, you can go to a different level that you never experienced before. This game is going to surpass how long you thought you would be playing it for. I'm still playing it to this day, and as of last year, I'm still learning some shit off.
It's still finding power-ups where you wouldn't expect them.
Yeah.
You know?
And you keep trying to get that fucking super high score in this game, because once you get good at it, and it's like, you beat the first level, you look at your score, and you're like, I can do better. Reset.
Somebody's learning shoot 'em up.
Shmups. How about you, man? How about you?
My number 2, it's an oldie but a goodie. So
It's an oldie. Okay.
oldie.
How old?
Mid 90.
Okay, that is old.
94.
94, so not for PlayStation.
Nope. Not for a console.
For computer.
For computer.
For 94, Windows
Specifically-
95 wasn't even out yet.
MS-DOS.
You're going as far back as MS-DOS.
Honestly, this is the game that made me realize what was coming down the pipeline. It was at this point, the PlayStation was out, and
Just out. Yeah.
just out in Japan only. I think
Yeah.
it wasn't out here yet. The 3DO was, if it was out at this point, or if that was 95.
But no one was buying the 3DO.
Nobody gave a shit about the 3DO except
They
that
made it way too expensive.
buddy with the lawyer dad who
Yeah.
was buying his love. No, I think this was the
94.
first one. Okay, so
PC.
the reason this game blew my mind is it had real cinematic cutscenes.
Oh, hold on.
with
It's cinematic
real
and it's a flight
actors.
game? Tell me one of the actors.
Mark Hamill.
Wing Commander.
Wing Commander 3.
Fuck yeah!
Let's fucking go.
That's a awesome game!
Oh yeah, it deserves to be in this list.
I
for
love the
sure.
cinematics in this game. They even have
They
Buddy
blew
from...
my fucking mind. They're all like over an hour.
They have Buddy from Indiana Jones. Well, what's his name? Indiana Jones buddy.
Oh yeah. John Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, he's in there too.
Oh, what's
And
his
the
name?
huge... Oh, isn't there
Paladin.
like a...
He's Paladin.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's one of your 2 wingmen that you can choose.
Dude,
Yes.
such a good game. I'm
Who's the other
surprised
guy?
this didn't make my list.
Let's who Malcolm McDowell is in it. He's the admiral.
He is.
He's the admiral who like questions your
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Are
questions
you
your
really a
motives and your-
sane
yeah.
pilot?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mark
Fuck that
Hamill,
guy.
of course, is what's his actual name in the game?
Oh, it's been so long, I don't remember.
Fuck.
Dude, what a great game.
What's his actual name? Just as me. He's
And
me.
It's
Maverick.
the best.
He's Maverick. He's literally Maverick.
He's the.
Which
this
is
is
like
the best
fuck-
wing commander of all 3.
All right, Top Gun. But
Yeah.
but no. And then who else is it? There's Tom Wilson is Maniac.
He is.
He's the
dude.
other wingman that you can do.
I gotta
And
play this game
anybody
again.
listening that doesn't know who Tom Wilson is, make like a tree and get out, butthead.
Yeah.
There you go. Tim Curry
Yep.
is in it.
That's right.
He's a Kilrathi, and he's like one of the bad guys
Yeah.
technically.
Technically. Tim Curry's always. Kind
So
of
yeah,
God.
because they focus so hard, and we're talking like close to 2 hours of live
At least.
acting
Yeah.
cutscenes. Very
It's a big game.
very pixelated,
It's a big game.
very pixelated,
Yeah.
and it takes up like 1/4 of your computer monitor because they couldn't do it full screen.
Yeah, they couldn't stretch it out. They
There's
couldn't
no
figure
way
out
they
how
could
to
fit
stretch
that
it
all
out
on
at that
on
point.
a one disc,
Yeah.
right? So, or 174.
The technology was not there yet.
Yeah, or 174 floppies.
This before Windows 95. It's for DOS. The technology was
right.
not there yet.
This is still command line based.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you had to run the game through command line. You had so it's a space combat sim. So I still think it's good.
It's good, but it's it leaves it.
Like where
you're using your imagination.
Where
a
Wing
bit.
Commander 3 came in is it actually has polygonal movement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're coming up on a
it screams right past you.
when you're coming up on like a Star Destroyer style type ship that would be in this, it actually scales and gets bigger and bigger as you're coming up to it. You can literally go in through the like loading bay cargo door. Like it's pretty fucking
There
cool.
is a lot of firsts for this game.
But at the heart of it, anybody that doesn't know what a space combat sim is, you have your framed out window right in front of you, and
It's a lot of black.
space, a lot of black, a lot of stars, and then like a fighter ship will go by you going towards the left. So you literally move your joystick left to track it and get it in your sights and shoot it. It's essentially first-person flight sim.
Yeah.
Which I'm cool with.
That's fine.
It was still fun. It was still, you had multiple different ships that you could use. You typically used one based on the mission, and they had different abilities based on what mission you were on. I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
But really, at the heart of this, it's the story, it's the cinematics.
It's definitely the cinematics.
Blew
and
my
story,
fucking
man.
mind like 3 years before
It's
Final Fantasy
94,
VII.
right? You said 94?
94.
So this was the beginning of the FMV games.
Yeah.
Like
But
these were
not-
just starting to come out.
Like
a lot.
yeah, so like long before Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Long before Marky Mark's make your own fucking video. Like any of that shit. Night Trap, right? It was this.
Yeah.
And but it was done well.
It was.
Like it was real acting with Malcolm
With
McDowell,
real
and Mark
actors.
Hamill, and
Yeah.
John Rhys Davies.
Very cool.
It blew my mind, man. And Tim fucking Curry.
Yeah.
Like Tim Curry's a legend, man.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like what a fucking legend.
The Jackass in Home Alone 2.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, everything about this game I thought was really cool, and it honestly it really sold me on the PC gaming experience.
Yes.
Because you could flight stick with it.
Yeah, but PCs at this point were fucking expensive.
Oh boy. So
and
that's
they were
why
about to get even more
I'm
expensive.
counting this, even though I never owned it. I played it at my buddy's house.
Yeah.
But
That's
we
good-
played
that's a
it
good one. I like
lot.
that.
We played this in Police Quest 3.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hard.
What the fuck?
All the
I
all the
remember that
Sierra
one.
games. This game, by the way, was made by Origin Systems.
Yeah.
They would have been. I don't know who they got gobbled up by. EA, I think.
Mhm.
But Origin was totally not EA. Even though it said EA later, they don't count. It's
So-
Origin.
So a lot of and when I say a lot, I don't mean a lot. There was probably about a dozen or 2 dozen companies back in the 90s that were doing FMV games, and for some of these companies, if the FMV game, because the budget is generally very high on sets and actors and paying them out, if this game doesn't do well, it was the final nail in the coffin for this game.
Oh yeah.
And it happened.
This
often.
is what? Fuck. 2 years or 1 year or 2 years before Myst,
Yeah.
which was the FMV game that
Yeah.
blew everybody's mind, right? This is before that, so
Yeah.
big deal.
Big deal.
Big deal.
What is your number one?
Well, we're gonna just absolutely drag the mood right down into the floor.
Okay. Why? What do you? Hold
'cause
on.
this
Is it
isn't-
an arcadey game?
Because this is straight up a flight game. Now,
For computer.
yes.
Let me guess. Windows 98.
So I totally understand where you're going with, but I'm going with the newest one.
Really?
Which was in 2020, and it's actually
Oh,
just...
come on. They're the same damn thing, Lauren.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I'm going to tell you why.
Windows 95, 98, XP, 7.
You bet.
Now
You're
they're
totally
all the same.
fucking right. You're totally right, except for one massive difference,
Okay.
and I'll get to that. Made by Asobo Studio
I never heard of these
in
guys.
August 2020
Okay.
for Microsoft.
Yeah. So let's just say Windows 10, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's Flight Simulator. However, this is 14 years removed, okay? So they haven't made a new flight sim in 14 years when they released this game. Fuck me, did it come back with a bang. So it's the same shit over and over and over. You know what
Yeah.
you're getting into.
Yeah.
You are an enthusiast.
Take off.
You now you could be like me, who's like, okay, I'm just gonna crash this fucking plane 35
Or
seconds after
bank as hard as you
I
can
am
down
not
and try to pull up last minute.
doing a fucking long haul flight from Dulles to fucking Singapore. I don't care. If you enjoy that,
But you have so many passengers waiting on you to get there.
if you enjoy that, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Like, honestly,
You know
I'm-
that
I'm
these
glad-
flight sims,
I'm
so-
glad
some
that
of these
this is
air.
out for people that want this.
Oh yeah, you know, for some of these flight sims, it is to the hour.
Dude,
It to the hour.
we're getting there.
Oh, okay.
We're getting there. I got my notes right in front
shit.
of me. Listen
Can
to
you
this.
imagine there's enthusiasts who do this on their
So
weekends?
some of the things that make this more fun for guys like me, just to give you an idea, Baldur's Gate 3 is too much game for me. I can't fucking play it.
It's
man.
too much for
It's
me
too
too.
much game for me.
Yeah.
Good for you, all of you that wanted unlimited points where you get 4 hours into the game and then restart because you want to redo your character
Yeah.
for the 17th fucking time.
Yeah.
Good for you. Not for me. This game is not for me, but these little things.
Why
do
is
it
it
for
your
me.
number one if it's not for
Because
you?
it blows my fucking mind, the capability of this
Okay.
game. Virtual co-pilot.
Okay.
So if you don't know how to call ahead to flight control to request a landing,
Put it on virtual auto.
virtual autopilot will do it for you. If you don't know your way around the taxi pathways at a
Which can be
real
cumbersome.
running airport, by the way,
Yeah.
virtual, it'll show you with arrows. So you just follow the arrows. If that's too much for you, why
It'll
don't you
land it for
taxi
ya.
me for me? It'll do
Land
it for you,
ya.
right?
Yeah.
Now I know that sounds like auto playing a game, but the heart of this game is still there. You're learning how to fly a plane, and the tutorials actually take you through how to fly a plane, like very
Yeah.
very
Like a
accurately.
la Gran Turismo.
Very accurately.
Yeah.
I would say way above and beyond Gran Turismo. This
Yeah.
is like hardcore.
Like you need your license.
Fucking hardcore. All the landing guys pause midair to check the view if you want to do that. Which I always thought that was one of my favorite things, jumping out of the plane and then rotating the camera around to see the visuals. Here's where it gets fucking crazy. The level of detail in this game is so crazy that you need a download speed ideally of 50 megabits per second to play this game properly.
That's quite high.
The reason for it is it tracks where your jet is in the virtual world that they have integrated with their decades of MapQuest data and gives you a realistic representation through GPS of what that area of the world
Yeah, that will
actually
be taxing on your
fucking
video
looks
card
like.
and processor.
So you are seeing where your plane is in Earth for fucking real, and then it's real time rendering the images into 3D so that you see what is actually there in the world. Like, it's not pre-rendered. There's no pre-rendered maps. It's all fucking real time rendered of the real world.
Yeah.
It's fucking mind-blowing. Shocked me, man, when I read that. So that real world map time is crazy. And then if that's not enough for you, man, there are two like networks that you can play on. So VATSIM and Iveo, which are actual human beings in the traffic control. So they decide, like, have you ever seen that Grand Theft Auto 5 online, like, role-playing world, where people play, like, they sign up to play in this world, but they have to stick to their character?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
That's cool.
So you pay like a small monthly fee, and it goes towards these people that run this network, but they run air traffic control. And so when you call in, it's real fucking people calling back to you. And it's all... It couldn't be more realistic for a virtual flight world.
Yeah.
All that shit blows my mind, man. Is it fun? Is it arcadey? Are you shooting shit down? No. But wow. Like I never in my mind did I think that something like that would be possible in a video game. And
never
here we
in
are.
my mind did I think you bring this up as your number one.
I know. And realistically, if I could rewrite this list, I think I would put Ace Combat 4 number one.
Yeah.
I would put this like 2 or 3 or something, but
just for like
at the time when I was writing
technology
the list, it just blew my mind so much. I orgasmed and just threw it as number one on the list. So yeah, there we are. That's why. But you know what? Let's get to the fucking main event. Tom, you love flight games.
I do.
It's one of your favorite styles. maybe behind wrestling.
It is.
What is your number one?
So this one actually really surprised me as well, because for this flight sim list, I ended up basically writing down about 22 games, and I had to pick from 22 games which ones I think are worthwhile the most, and I had to think of the reasons and whatnot. So this one released in kind of late 2003, October 21st, for the original Xbox. It was developed by FASA Studios and published by Microsoft Game Studios. It's Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge.
Okay.
And this game is set during the 1930s. It kind of has a steampunk style of plane design.
Cool.
So you got these like propellers aimed the wrong way, the wings shaped fucking weird and shit.
Yeah.
But it's open world, so each level you can go up, down, back, right. It's not a rail shooter. You can decide to shoot certain.
So it's more like dome. It's a big dome shooter. Okay.
Yeah, and you can decide which person to shoot first and which mission to do last, like kind of Desert Strike and whatnot. And you play as Nathan Zachary, and you're the leader of the Air Pirates gang. And you go on to avenge the death of your old friend Doc Fezzenbinder.
Oh yeah.
But all that being said, I'm not here to talk about the campaign for this.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about how great of an Xbox Live game this was.
Oh, yes.
And how, not just that, how fucking awesome it was to system link this game with other friends.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this made it worthwhile.
People only ever talk about Halo.
Yeah, they only do.
They literally only talk about Halo.
But the thing is, when we went to LANs, it was Halo. We brought several of these games.
Yeah.
And it would be like a wrestling game and something else. But like, other than Halo, if you wanted a good time, Crimson Skies could keep you in there, man.
I feel like if more people knew this, like knew that Crimson Skies was a system link game,
yeah,
right? Then more would, because I think back to like Battlefield 1943.
Oh,
how many people immediately sprinted for the plane because they wanted to be the guy up in the air to shoot all the fucking little ants?
That was the one thing you wanted to do in 1942, 43. And not really Vietnam, because those were MiGs and whatnot. So you were doing like strafing runs and shit.
Yeah.
But if in 1943 or 42 you were up in the sky, and then everything's fine and dandy, you're dropping bombs, all of a sudden you hear some bullets whizzing by you. You're in a dogfight.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
Yes.
It's exciting to be in dogfights, and that is what flight sims are to me.
Yeah.
It's being in a dogfight, trying to evade the situation, and trying to get the best of your opponent, which is hard to do.
Like shooters, right? Like you're just getting the drop on the guy, but there is no getting the drop on a guy in a dogfight, really. Like it's getting on their six and then owning them. Yeah. And it's like I'm your daddy.
And you know, if I really wanted to, I could have switched War Thunder in first place in this game.
Yeah.
Later in the list, but the thing is, War Thunder wasn't out yet.
Right.
Rogue Squadron was not a massively multiplayer game.
No. And
this was the first Xbox Live massively multiplayer flight game I've ever played, because there was no such thing for me before this game, or at least I had no means of being able to do it on a computer, because computers in the 90s to late 90s to even early 2000s were expensive.
Yep.
They were really expensive, and to play some of these flight games back then, good luck, because
my
the
first
video card you wanted to get,
$2,600.
you're not going to afford.
That was...
Power supplies were $250.
Yeah, we're back to that.
Power supplies were $250.
Yeah, my first computer had it was a 350 Pentium 2 with like 128 gigs of RAM, which was a ton.
Was a lot back then.
And it was $2,600.
Yeah, RAM would become, I believe,
insisted on
$300
they were like,
stick.
You don't need it. I was like, oh,
you do.
Put it in there. They're like, no, like 64 is lots. And I'm like, nope, put it in there.
Yeah.
And my motherboard wouldn't even take more than 192.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's my number one, and it surprised the hell out of me as my number one, to be honest.
You know what? The heart feels The heart
Yeah.
wants what the heart wants.
Wing Commander was a great game, and I remember Wing Commander.
Yes.
I remember playing and beating that, and that was a hoot of a time.
When it popped in my head, because I'll be honest, I don't play a lot of flight games because a lot of them revolved around having a really good PC or
100%, yeah.
which that PC which I built didn't even have a 3D graphics accelerator, so couldn't even play a flight game on it. I just didn't play a lot of them, right? And when all the 2010 War Thunder came out, I actually wasn't really gaming that hard at the time, so I just limited experience. So when that popped in my head, I had fond memories of that game, man.
When this came out, massively multiplayer flight games for me were not accessible through the computer. So the fact that I could play it back then at an affordable price on a console with other friends that had the same game was awesome. Because back then Xbox came out, you had your headset on your controller, you could smack talk everybody, you could send messages to people, and it was just a hell of a time.
Well, we take it for granted nowadays, but back then, clearly it's a lasting memory because it's your number one on your list.
Yeah.
I understand.
Thanks for sticking out with us through this air raid of emission. It was really fun to talk about some of these games because I haven't played some of these in a while, and some of the games that Lauren mentioned I even have not played for a while. And I think it's really funny that we both picked Afterburner because of the arcade cabinet, because that was really wild.
100%, what a memory. You know, I'm glad my list could even just a little bit hang with yours. So I was more than happy to join in on this. Yeah, but no, I appreciate it, and we appreciate you all listening. Any comments, we would appreciate those as well, and let us know how we're wrong, like always.
Yeah, please let us know how we're wrong, and how I think that Red Baron is better than most flight sims for fucking Windows 95, 98, and onwards.
Yeah, River Raid or bust.
See you, everyone.